Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and understanding why Bitcoin is about ready to take off very soon. So on screen at the minute we're looking at what has been the accumulation zone for the previous couple months. Nearly 2 months, nearly 3 months now. What we can see is the price just accumulating in the zone, having a breakout, push down, coming down, break down further, push back up. You kind of see the head and shoulders pattern that come up. And we've bounced off of resistance here. We've come back into this zone, creating a pennant. And what I would assume from this point is we're going to bounce around in a pennant and either break up or break down. But I think we're going to break up because we definitely hold in the zone here from the push up. You come down, hold in again, and push back up. Indicators do kind of support that. I mean, we're not breaking below the 50% level, which is good. We'll probably come down to this level here and then bounce up, and then we'll probably have a small crossover and then a cross back up higher on the MACD, which is pretty common, especially when you're around this zone. So we'll probably have a little bit into the red and then back up into the green. Kind of similar to what we had over here. You know, you come a little bit red and you come back up into the green. So that's kind of this function here and then coming up again. So there's a good indication that Bitcoin has a lot of price action to come. This is the previous cycle high line. I'll zoom out so you can see this. So that's the last previous cycle high. What we want to see with this is instead of rejecting like we have done here, we want to get up here, hold that for support, and then bounce up higher. So we can get up there, break out through the pennant, and then push up higher. Would be what I expect to be the outcome. Some confluences. So if we look at the S&P 500. At the minute, you've had the big one wave, then a huge wave 3, 4, and then probably going to create somewhat of a double bottom by the looks of things. That looks like a reversal candle, and then we'll push up here for the wave 5. Basically what happens in any wave 3, wave 1 and wave 5 are always the same. So if we come up wave 1, and that's 3.44%, I'd assume from the low here, 3.44% would bring us up to roughly this area here. So just below the 1.618, or I'd see a push up to that. But because Bitcoin basically follows indices and US stock market, if we're going to have a push up higher here, that would in turn bring a push up higher in Bitcoin, which seems to kind of line up with the way this pennant forming and the way that the S&P is kind of double bottoming by the looks of things here. So big red candle down up, creating the W, and then we'll have a push up higher soon. Next, we will look at the DXY to find more confluence. So obviously you can see over time that this zone has been either resistance or support at a pretty consistent level. Basically what we want to see here is come up, hopefully would be cool if we got a bounce off the 382 here, and then a drop down lower. But you've kind of got like a wave 1. It's hard to kind of say with this with a wave structure, but basically what we want to see is come up and then reject from these areas here, because you've got a constant level of resistance just along that line there. So if we can come up kind of ABC and then break down further, so if we come up here, kind of find resistance and come back down, that would be very bullish for crypto and the stock market as well. But obviously if we ever could push up higher, that's fine. If you're kind of looking at drawing a fib over that, if we can come up to maybe the 0.5 or the 618, you can find resistance on that line there and then have a breakdown further. So that's kind of what I would be assuming would happen with the DXY. So we just need to see a constant level of resistance, which we could see along this trend line here. It could come back up here for all we know and then break down again further. So we just need to play out and see what happens with the DXY. But at the minute is in a downtrend because it failed to create a high here. It is, and on the longer term trend, and the short term obviously is bullish because it hasn't broken this low. So we just need to see basically what will play out with that. If we look in the long term trend, it's still negative because it's a lower low, and it's constantly coming down. Cool. So some other indicators that are worth looking at. So the stock to flow model, as you can see here, if we look at the previous cycle, when you get to this red section, it kind of turns orange and then it comes up further. On that zone there, you get that touch along this moving average here, and then we get the push up higher. So if we ever zoom in, you can see we're getting very close to this area here, which would indicate that at some point we will have a push up higher, because essentially, historically, every time Bitcoin's come along this trend, we've gone up. Another thing to look at is the price cycle indicator. So when you can see these bands coming together and tightening, they're a bit like Bollinger Bands. Every time you tighten, you see a push up a price either or. What we're seeing here is historically a push in the bands tightening, a push up higher, push in the bands tightening, a push up higher. Same thing here, same thing here. And as you can see at the top in this area, this area up here, you can see we're tightening, and then at some point in the near future, we will see a push up higher. Cool. Right. So another section to look at is the golden ratio multiplier. So obviously, when we come up here, you're seeing we're in the green zone, finding support, push up higher. In the green, finding support on the green here, push up higher. Same thing there, finding support on the green, push up higher. What we seeing here? If we zoom in, we're come up, found a little bit of resistance underneath, come up, and now finding support on the green, and what we want to see is then a push up higher. So that essentially is imitating what historically happened. We're kind of bouncing around the green line, finding a good level of support on there, and then we're bouncing up. So what we want to do is bounce off the green, find support, come up to the red line, find support on the red moving average, and then have a push up higher. So you can see when we look at all these indicators, there's a lot of confluence that is suggesting that some point soon Bitcoin is going to have a really big push up. At the minute, we're just kind of waiting for a few things to fall into place. We just need time to do its thing. Obviously, again, when we know that in election year cycles, June and July are historically the most bullish months in the stock market. So if the stock market is going to be bullish in the next 2 months, you know Bitcoin and the crypto market will be bullish as well. And if Bitcoin's bullish, the rest of the crypto market will follow, because again, it still follows Bitcoin. And then if the stock market is bullish, Bitcoin follows the stock market. So regardless of what happens, risk on assets are going to be bullish these next 2 months based on historical data. All we now need to do is just be patient, keep an eye on things, and the future is looking good for over the next few months. I think we're very close to seeing an all-time high. I think more of a price. We're in an all-time high, but seeing more price discovery. But I feel like we're in this kind of zone here where you just have that last push up in like the next, kind of 4 months. So yeah, let's just keep an eye on things. Keep an eye on all these indicators specifically, because that will give us a really good idea of what's happening. One other thing we also want to do is the liquidity. So M2 liquidity is the money that the US government is printing. So the more influx of money, obviously you have a more push up in the cycle. So we've had that dip, which would be the bear market, and then we've had money printing since, which has been pushing the price up. So once that money printing gets turned back on, and we can have a higher influx of cash, that's when you'll probably see another push up in the market as well. Because historically, whenever there's more money pumped into the economy that has been printed by the Fed, the stock market goes up, and Bitcoin goes up, and crypto. So these are going to be another few things we need to watch for. Alright guys, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.